Welcome back to Observing the Sabbath. I'm your host, Nathaniel Molnar, and we are continuing our look at 1971's Master of Reality, the third studio album by Black Sabbath. We've done most of the album, actually. We have two more left. We have Solitude, and we have Into the Void. So today we're going to be talking about Solitude. This is a really interesting song on this album. You know what? I'll save my thoughts for actually when we listen to the song. So I'll just say up front, as I say almost every video, or I try to at least, sometimes I forget, this is not a regular reaction video. This is me. I've listened to this song many times before, and I'm giving you my thoughts live as I listen to it, as opposed to hearing it for the first time. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. This is Solitude. This is like one of the most underappreciated Sabbath songs, and I think it's one of the best on this album because it's a ballad. It's a beautiful song, and this really shows. You know, I always say that each album has the slow song. On Paranoid, it's Planet Caravan. It's Solitude for this one. Changes for Volume 4. Each album has that slower song where things kind of take a break. You're not having that heavy, crazy riffs. You just kind of slow down and appreciate something for a little bit. But what's really special about this song is Ozzy changes his voice. And I listen to this and it does not sound like Ozzy at all. It does not sound like him. And even though I know it's him because I've read how it is him, I listen to it and my brain does not click that this is Ozzy at all. It just does not sound like him. And I think that this shows what range he really has. You know, I think there's a perception that, not necessarily held by maybe like real like fans that are like die-hard Ozzy fans or die-hard Sabbath fans, but there is a perception out there that Ozzy is not a good singer, and that he has a shtick that he does that gets him through his songs. I think there's a little bit of truth in that he is sort of doing a shtick he's putting up front. But when you listen to something like Solitude, and you hear what his voice can be, he has range. He can really transform himself as a singer, and he is quite talented. And I think what he's most talented in is being able to kind of shape his persona and shape his voice to fit the tone of the style of music that he's playing to. And so then you get something like Solitude where it's more of a ballad. It's very slow. It's a very emotional, deep song. He can fit that and change his voice and go for that tone, and it works so well. And one of the reasons why, and I'll talk more about Changes once we get to Volume 4, one of the reasons why maybe Changes doesn't have the same visceral effect on me that Solitude does is that Ozzy's doing his regular Ozzy voice for Changes, where maybe had he gone for this sort of tone with Changes, it might have resonated a little bit more. But the strumming, all the instrumental parts of Solitude are just beautiful. They bring in a lot of different unique elements in here, like you hear chimes. I think there's a flute at some point. And then his voice is so beautiful, and it's so unexpected because at this point, you're 3 albums into Black Sabbath. You have a very particular understanding of not just what their tone is, but what the singer's voice sounds like. And you have a little bit of a change once you get to Planet Caravan, but a lot of that is also just sort of, you know, they're changing the voice. The voice is being augmented, you know, as opposed to Ozzy himself changing the way that he sings. So it's a little bit different with Planet Caravan, so that's sort of the odd man out. But you're 3 albums deep at this point, and you get to this song, and it throws everything for a loop and completely changes what you thought Black Sabbath could be. And that is one of the most beautiful things about Black Sabbath, is that they are constantly changing and growing and evolving and not doing the same thing twice. They don't want to do the same thing twice. They don't want to keep trying to do the same thing over and over and over again. They want to branch out and do new things. Later on down the line, that causes some problems with them, but we're going to talk about that as we go deeper into the albums. But I think Solitude is a beautiful song. I think it's a beautiful song, and I don't think it's as appreciated as it should be. And I think it's rather overlooked by a lot of people, even people who love Master of Reality. And as as I've mentioned before, Master of Reality is not on the same level as some of their other albums as other people would hold Master of Reality to be. But I think even the people who do hold Master of Reality to be one of the top Sabbath albums, they don't talk about Solitude. They'll talk about Children of the Grave, they'll talk about Sweet Leaf, they'll talk about Into the Void, but people don't really talk about Solitude. And I think it deserves to be talked about more, because it is just a beautiful song. It's so well sung for someone who many people at this point in the game may not have suspected that the singer could sing like this. It's beautifully composed for a band that may have had the unfair perception of just being loud and noisy. To play and compose such a beautiful song, it really changes things up and changes the game for what Black Sabbath could be. And I think that sets a tone for the rest of their music, for the rest of the years to come. Solitude is the one that says to the world, hey, this album can be more than just the people who did Iron Man or the people who did Paranoid. This band can be more. And Solitude is the one that sets that precedent. Solitude is the one that puts that out there and tells everyone that this band can be more. And then later on down the line, they prove that they can be more by trying new things and going in new directions. And again, it doesn't always work, at least in a mass perceptive way. Not a lot of people are fans of Technical Ecstasy, which is probably the biggest example of them trying to do something new, as would be Never Say Die. But regardless, they're trying to do something new. And Solitude is the one that shows everybody, it's the one that stands out as, hey, we're trying to be something new. So, regardless, that's all my thoughts on Solitude. I think it's a beautiful song. I don't know where it would be on like any sort of ranking, but I think it is one of their most unique songs. It's one of their most beautiful songs. And if someone has a view of Black Sabbath that they're like, their songs are just all loud, that they're noisy, that they don't really like them, it's just Ozzy kind of can't sing or anything like that. If someone has those views of Black Sabbath, I would sit them down and play them Solitude. Or better yet, I would just play them Solitude and wait for them to go, that's a really good song. Who sings that? Black Sabbath. Wait, what? Exactly. You can have a similar reaction with It's Alright. But so anyways, those are all my thoughts. I want to know, what do you think of Solitude? Do you agree with me in a lot of my thoughts about the song? That's one of their more beautiful songs. That's one of those defining songs for them that shows that they really can be anything and not just, contained or tethered into one category, that they really have the ability to expand and be whatever it is that they want to be? Or do you think it's just kind of a throwaway song because it doesn't sound like a lot of their other music, and it's just kind of taking up space because it's not like the rest of their music? So I want to know. Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. Once again, I'm Nathaniel Molnar. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe for more content, and be sure to come back for essentially a wrap-up of Master of Reality as we talk about Into the Void, and I will be joined by a special guest for that video. So until then, until we talk about Into the Void, thank you for watching.